Welcome, listeners. I have a very special experience for everyone today. Today, we're going to be talking to three beautiful beings from the Revealing Wisdom Collective, and that is Alina, Gail, and Tatia, who goes by T. And what we're focusing on, actually, the Revealing Wisdom Collective, I'll step back and say what that is. It birthed in January this year, and it's basically it's an incubator for us to up-level our nervous system mastery and also to come into deep communion with one another during these times, and a whole bunch of other magical things that I wasn't even sure what it's supposed to be. I just knew that I needed to make the space. And the intention so far for this first year is actually to go through the power reclamation map that I have. Some of you may be familiar with that if you've listened before. But there's 6 powers total and 6 gateways of power. And we're going through each one, and each one every 2 months. So we started out with centering power, and we're going to discuss that one today because we've just completed, and now we're rolling into relational power as of this week. So that's the focus of today. And you'll hear more about the guests as we go on. They'll be sharing about themselves personally, but also if there's anything at the end, they may share about their work in the world too. So without any more setting up, I just want to open it up and say, there was a very loud noise there. So sorry, listeners, not sure what that was. That I want to just open up, because I think this could be really fun, is what drew each of you to this Revealing Wisdom Collective before we dive into centering power? What was the calling for you to be here at this time?
Besides hanging out with you?
Yeah.
I'll just say 2 things. One was really the invitation to explore and nurture our nervous system in a community space.
Mm-hmm.
And that I knew this year was going to be fairly exciting, I'll say. And that I wanted to be able to have skillful means for attending to my soma, my body, in a very nourishing way.
Beautiful. Thank you, Gail.
For me, I'd had a couple of really challenging years and had to navigate life in ways that I hadn't expected. And it was divine timing that this container and RWC came along, and I was drawn to it because I wanted to deepen my ability to stay grounded in the middle of uncertainty. You know, not after things have calmed down, but while life is actually unfolding. And something deep in me resonated with what you were offering, and I'm just so excited to be a part of it.
Thank you, T. I'm really happy you're here. Beautiful.
Love these answers. Anything to add? I would say, like Gail, like hanging out with you. It sounds really fun, like, oh, like hanging out with Anne Marie. And I was asking myself, why is that? Like, but why? And to me, you just have a lot of life experience having walked through these powers and through these gateways. And so, although it's a emergent collective, there's someone steering the ship who's been fascinated by power and the gateways to power for a really long time. So there's like a good ship captain. And that's really helpful. I wouldn't want to be in another emergent situation with someone who hasn't had a lot of life experience in it. It's really nice being guided in that way, where there's a lot of room to play and express yourself, but clear direction.
Beautiful. Thank you, Alina. It's so funny because we're about to open to centering power, but hearing you say that, and I'm sure that this is true for so many of us and you all in your own way is that we often teach what we have to learn. And I feel like these powers came through, I think it was 2017 or maybe 18, I don't remember now. But first they came through very conceptually, and it was like I was mapping them. They were just coming through and all the nuances of them. And they were definitely embodied too. But little did I know that I would be going on this massive journey where I would have to actually step away from them because I was going so deep, especially into self-acceptance power, but just so deep into them that I actually had to get another layer where I could actually come back and hold a different kind of ground than I could have held the powers before. So it's just amazing how, my mind was like, oh, I just launched this thing and now I'm pulling away from it. And actually that's just part of this whole thing. It's like the fire horse year, agency and surrender, and this sense of like surrendering into what this actually is, not what my mind thinks it's supposed to be, and how it's teaching me so much. So part of what I'm loving is hearing what you all are gaining from this, because it's teaching me too. It's like, oh yeah. Like the other night, T, you talked about in relational power, it's so much of it is about creating safety and security. And then that builds this foundation. So I want to open it up so listeners kind of can get a sense of what are we talking about? What do you all perceive as centering power? Like how is that living in you in this moment to have a centered power?
I think for me, it's less about controlling what's happening around me and more so remembering that we have this inner compass that can guide how we respond. There's always noise going on around us, and there are days I'll have back-to-back meetings where you don't even have time to process what you just experienced. And the centering power is the ability to pull yourself back into the present. For me, and really have a sense of right here, right now, in this moment, I'm safe. Mm-hmm. I can just be.
Beautiful. So despite how much is happening, knowing that you have a process of how you are discovering how you come back, even when there's so much going on.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Well, we'll keep building on this, but I want to see, does anyone else want to share anything about your perception of centering power?
Well, for me, centering power, my experience of the practices, it's goes well beyond, say, presencing or being present. I mean, there's that definite quality of centering power, but there's this way that our presence is I'm going to say a both and I feel more of my power internally and the comfort in he was saying about safety. It's like I'm not only feeling safe, but I'm feeling capable and powerful. And for me, it's a quiet power. There's not, I think, had a story or concept of power needed to be really huge, and you've got to rip off heads or something, or even it has a little bit of gnarliness to it. And I'm going, whoa a minute. I mean, and like I said, the practices you gave us, I was just blown away by what I was feeling and containing, and particularly the last part of the practices, which I'm sure you can post somewhere or do the magic that you do to get it to people. But that was particularly revelationary. Is that even a word? Revelation.
It is now. It works. I get it.
Okay.
Yes.
So that was my take. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And just for listeners, so the practices that we were doing in this 2-month is we did a lot around building the strength of our electromagnetic field. And so a lot of it I think what Gail, you were speaking to, and you've spoken to this before in the container, which I appreciated so much, is that these practices are so subtle. We're really like doing certain movements, certain breath techniques, and they're not even that long. It was like a 12-minute practice or a 30-minute practice that you could do every day for 40 days if you chose. 40 days really helps to like have a new habit get worn in. And I wanted to say that these practices are available. If people are interested, they can reach out, but they're so subtle, but it's like transforming for me the centering power. And I really got taught this in our process together. I've been such a meditation practitioner, so it's always been about like bringing my mind back and focusing on something, or coming into my body and focusing on body scanning or things like that. But these practices, like, they literally reorganize our presence. When there's incoherence in the mind body, we could even say spirit, that these practices of just moving our arms a certain way or having a certain breath technique reorganizes the presence in a way where then we actually go into this, it's called ventral vagal, but where our nervous system is in this state of flow, out of, a reactive state. So it feels to me like centering power has been so expanded in my own understanding of how we do this at an energetic level, and then how the mind follows. So I often have felt like I need to change the mind with the mind, but I feel like what I've been learning over time with all these somatic practices is that I change the mind through changing the body often, and the state of mind will follow. So I just wanted to plug that.
Yes, definitely that.
Yes.
But I want to see something else here, because
Yeah.
I've always known that, and I have practices that way. But what
Yeah.
we've been doing, there's something different, an alchemical that's happening. And so it's like, this isn't my first rodeo, and I'm sure it's not the first rodeo for anybody here. So I kind of want to up level the message of, change your body, you'll change your mind. There's something else that's happening, and I don't know. Can't answer that just from my experience. So
Okay, well, maybe that will come to. Sorry, T, go ahead.
It's almost like my body recognized a practice that it didn't know in this lifetime, but reconnected with. It's really hard for me to articulate it. It's more of a sensory perception within me that something Gail just said it is. It's like a returning to a practice that my body knew it needed.
Yes. It's kind of saying, thank you. Finally.
Yes. Woohoo. Mm-hmm.
Woohoo. Yes.
I'd love
Alina.
to add that one thing I really am enjoying about this collective is there's options. It's a little bit of a choose your own adventure. So you always say, come to the calls you can, but don't look at it like, oh, here's another call in your calendar, like you better frickin' be there. That's not the point. And same with the practices, the way you have it set up. There's a thread to talk all about the practices, but there's also places to talk not about the practices for anyone that might not be doing the practices. And I was one of those people. I totally thought I was going to do the practices, and life has been so overwhelming and so exhausting that doing the practices, sadly, was more overwhelming. So I just had to let go. It took me about a week. Finally, I was like, okay, Lena, you just have to let go. Like you're not getting to these. And it's very cool. This container is very cool in the sense that I have totally had centering in my body, like a different understanding in my body of what centering feels like. And I don't even do the freaking practices.
Osmosis, baby.
Yeah, right? Or like even just going to the calls and talking about what this meant, and even having you lead us on meditations on the call, and then just having a focus for a couple months on a specific aspect. Like I had breakthroughs just on calls. So that had a lasting result. So that's very cool too.
Oh my gosh, yes. Do you want to share some of the breakthroughs? Do any of you want to talk about, like, Alina, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if there's anything that you want to share there, and we could start to harvest like some of the learnings.
I would love to. I'll start us off, and I imagine Gail and T have many breakthroughs. I can't wait to hear theirs. My biggest one, I think just like the one I will talk about, is everything feels better when I'm feeling through the heart. Feeling through the heart doesn't feel like what I would think feeling through the heart feels like. It's not gooey. It's not lovey. For me, it's sunk. Okay, sure. I'll do that boring thing. Life's interesting. I'll go over here now. Okay, this is what's happening. It's very smooth, but if you had ever told me, like, feel through your heart, I would have thought, or I've tried. It's when I actually landed on centering power for me, it feels like it's at the bottom of the heart, and it's totally a different feeling. And the only way I can get there is I can't think myself there. I can't think, oh, I better feel from that place. The only way it works is if I go to that place in my body and I feel from there. And then it works. That's mine.
Gorgeous. And was that location at the bottom of your heart something you had
it's like
touched
right
before?
under. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off.
Well, is it something you've touched before? Was that a discovery that was actually revealing itself to you in this process?
I would say I've totally touched it before.
Yeah.
But it's never worked to just hang out there.
Uh-huh.
And something about the concept of centering power and looking at it like a power that centers me was a very different lens than feel through your heart, go into your heart. And somehow that worked.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think someone might have like autoresponders on. If you could put do not disturb. Okay.
I'm on do not disturb.
Yeah. Okay, that was beautiful. Love hearing this thunk landing in the heart. And let's just keep it open now. It's just like, what else was discovered during this time? And then I think I want to, have another place to go later, but what were some of the other discoveries?
This whole, how do I say this? There is definitely something about you, Anne-Marie, and the people that are drawn into this program, because every part of it feels like an embodiment. There is just, and I, especially coming away from, I know it's the relational and we're on centering. It's just very powerful. And I feel it having like the ripple effect in everything else I'm doing, in my work, in my private life, me with myself. It's transformational, and it's, unless you actually, I think, come into this space that you've created, it's very hard, at least for me, to articulate it, but it feels like an embodiment practice, just being present, let alone the practices themselves and all the other tools. It's pretty cool.
Wow. Thanks, T. Yeah.
I want to say, Elena, this is so cool to have this dialogue, and thank you, Anne-Marie, for inviting us. I love that you said you didn't do the practices, and I would have thought, and now you changed my whole lens, that you had to do the practices to have some kind of, the experiences. So thank you so much for that. And I had a really challenging time or with family, siblings. I have a brother who's has a heart condition. I want to be really succinct, but my ability to stay centered and present and navigate all of the particulars, I really credit to the development or whatever's been happening since we began.
Mm.
I do believe there's something that's deeply shifted, and it's everything, that's going on. But I'm, the ability to stay present, engaged, moving from the heart, listening from the heart, seeing from the heart. And yeah, it's not like, oh, feathers and, rosebuds or whatever the hell, like, as you said, there's just a quality of truth, of realness, and not trying to do anything with what's happening, but be in it, with it, be it.
Yes. So there's this common thread that I'm hearing so far, and I love this because it's making it all come so much more to life for me to hear more of your experiences. But there's something so profound about having a container, whatever that is, that we resonate with. There's something so profound about just allowing whatever happens in it. If we show up, when we show up, we can really be there, whether we do the practices, we don't do the practices, that things get revealed to us, the exact medicine that we need. And so I love the continual liberation of realizing this isn't about content. It isn't even about like something specific. It's really about what happens when we show up for ourselves and then we come together and do that, and how something does truly get amplified. So that's my little takeaway in this moment. But let's keep riffing. Let's see. We have this thread of heart intelligence, and it's not what we thought it was going to be. It's not gooey and ooey. It's something different for Alina, and it's not rainbows. And what was the other thing you said? Yeah. But it's like, it's a felt thing. So I do want to spend some time talking about the heart, because it is such a huge part of our human experience, and such a gateway of intelligence and guidance and wisdom. And so let's explore, how the fuck do we access our heart, and how do we come back to it when we've been either conditioned to go into the mind to fix, to solve, to problem. It's just like, that's just sort of a natural thing most humans are conditioned to do. But what is the cultivation of this heart? How do we do it? How do we come back when we fall away? Then let's feel and ask our hearts. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that you have to surrender to it being open and vulnerable. And like mentioned the other day, breaking. And then there's, I don't know, I love people, and I've led with my heart quite a bit. I don't know how to put it into words. I'm so sorry.
No, I think this is exactly it. It's sort of amorphous. Like, speaking to the heart is not a conceptual thing. Gail.
Oh, well, just, we're all women, and I believe that, see what you were saying about, I've led with my heart, and I'm, others through the heart. I believe many women are very heart centered. And so what came to my mind was, yeah, I know I don't know, they call it idiot compassion, or what, the doing so much for everyone. And so, looping out and not looping back into my own heart. So I'm feeling and sensing kind of everything, or and then so when you say coming back to my heart, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm already there.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there. It's about me honing it and bringing it back to me, for me, as me, something like that. And it's so as we're here, I mean, my heart is like, I can feel my back heart, my bottom heart, but there's just a pulsing, and it right now it feels great. But sometimes it hurts like hell and breaks, and but the point I'm trying to make, so I don't take up too much more time, is
Take your time.
I am coming here for me,
Yeah.
and then that makes me stronger, more, and have power for all.
Yeah. I love that. Tend to our own heart, and it can amplify what we actually bring into the world and how we show up for the world when we're showing up for ourselves in such a deep way. And there's something. Oh, go ahead, Alina.
Oh, I was going to say that I'm struck in this conversation by how different all like we're all having kind of different experiences with talking through the heart or feeling into the heart, and I think that's so obvious. Like, oh, of course, we would all have such, we're all unique people. But I think there's this way that in a lot of spiritual traditions and books read and teachings out there, that there's kind of an assumption of this is what feeling through the heart is like. This is what heart centeredness is like. And for me, these last couple months have really shown me that mine is not. Mine is very different than what is in those books, or like it's just such a different experience. And not just and even this idea of, oh, the heart, I'm like, when I can kind of tune into different parts of my heart, and they have different things to say. So centering power, like I was saying earlier, for me, it lives at the bottom of my heart, like almost like if my heart was on a pad. The centering power would be the pad, or like the pedestal, without not putting my heart on a pedestal, but that is cute.
It's cute.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, my heart's on a pedestal.
Absolutely.
It's really funny, as I keep talking to you, I keep putting my hands there, but then it looks like I'm literally holding my breast, which is funny. Yeah. But when I feel centered, it's a new feeling. It's different than what I thought centered felt like for me. And my heart, like, if my heart had a word, it would be whatever. Which is so funny.
Wow.
But when I find the center for me, my heart's like, whatever. Sure. That's not that big of a deal. Okay. And the difference is that when I'm not there, I feel way more extended. Like, oh, my friend texted me that, and oh, that kind of threw me, and oh, I have to be here for work, and oh, I'm having this relational thing with my partner, and everything's a bit bigger. And when I find the centering thing for myself, everything's smaller. Everything's like not that big of a deal. And that's really funny to me. It's not what I would have thought my heart had to say. But my heart is so happy when things are not so big of a deal.
Even the little attitude, not so big of a deal. Uh-huh. I love how it's surprising you, and even you bringing this thread in, that it's when you gave the alternative to how the heart sounds, you were like forward and the body's moving, and it's like kind of this like, oh, I need to respond to this thing now. And it's sounding like the way you were demonstrating with your body, with the heart, was just kind of this down and back, like, okay, cool. Yeah, sure. And in that place of, okay, cool, do you feel agency? Do you still feel like you have like desire that drives you, or does it feel more neutral than that?
Totally feel like I have agency. I actually feel like I have more agency because I'm not kind of being thrown into the whirlwind of this needs to happen for work. My friend's having this thing. Oh, I'm not. There's more agency in almost like keeping the capacity for myself,
Yeah.
simply put. And there is still desire, but for me, centering power has shown me that my desires right now are also different than other times in my life, and my desires are more simple. Like I actually just wanting a simple life, being outside, wanting a family, wanting to make enough money, but just kind of enough money.
Yeah.
So my desires feel more incubating, and therefore this whatever vibe in the heart is actually very freeing. But I think I don't know if if I had done centering power 2 years ago or 5 years in the future, I have a feeling I'm gonna actually come away with something quite different.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yeah. That sparks something really alive for me that I think has come from centering power. And I joke about it as an identity crisis in the last couple of months, but really what it's been is getting so honest with myself about the level of output that I've been doing. Like I've come back to my work with this new sort of aliveness of like the collective and all these somatic practices. And then I'm still doing all my leadership work and then wanting to get back to the podcast and, and on and on and on and on and on and on it goes with my home, with my work, with my personal life. And what the centering power, like these practices have really brought me into in the last couple of months. I think it's the fire horse. And I think it was, it's a lot of other things. And I was just having this, I'm in the desert and Joshua Tree. And I was just having a conversation with the cactus out there today. And I was like, I love how you are so slow. I love the slowness here. There's something so simple. Like at first I was bummed. I was like, there's no flowers and there's no like palm trees like there was in Palm Springs. And it's like kind of drab. And I just came from dry Colorado. And then I realized there's something in the lack of stimulate. There's one little plant that's red where there's one hummingbird and it's just everything is much more simple. And what I've noticed today and what I was saying to a friend earlier is I've been running my whole life hustling to create, to generate, to be seen, to heal my wounds, to da 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 da. And there's been something about, and I loved your share, Alina, because it like gives me a chance to voice it of, I actually don't know how long I'm going to be here, obviously, but I do find that the richest part of my life is in the simplest things when I am actually not hustling to keep up with all the technology and the texts and the things and this and the that, but I'm really watching the sunrise and the pink and the clouds. And I'm really feeling my little dog's heartbeat when she lays next to me. And I'm just feeling life. And so my takeaway has been, I'll probably change all my work again. Great. Because what I care most about is being so present that I'm actually loving my incarnation, that I'm actually not driven by my hustling. So I'll pause there. I feel like I'm going on and on. So let me just open it up. Who wants to share something next?
It feels great to listen to you. We're all nodding just to
Right.
show you. Yeah, we're all nodding, and
I
like
feel
no
like
one really wanted you to stop talking. But
yeah,
I think we're all happy to talk. But just so we're really into that.
it just feels like we're all having our own version of the same thing. I was just
I'm going to
today talking
listening.
also in a bit of a transition. I'll just keep going. Right? Identity shift. And I have this make things happen. I actually said that. I go, well, there's a part of me that will just, yeah, I'll make things happen. I'll make that happen. And so, no, she gets to have a long extended vacation and come back in at another time when there's more integration of the simplicity of what you were just speaking to, Anne Marie, of the absorption in this vitality in this life, like all of life. People, plants, rocks, pets, leaves. I feel so happy being here in this conversation right now. This is it right here.
Stepping into a slower pace definitely resonated with me. I feel like I have to laugh at myself when I look at how many times I've moved. If I said it on this podcast, people wouldn't believe me. And here I am now in this space that is just, it's enveloping me and it's forcing me to slow down and to just appreciate nature in ways I never have. I placed my desk in front of a window and I've been telling myself for months, take more breaks, take more breaks. Well, this window is my break because nature is happening right outside to where I can see a bird land on a really fragile flower and eat from it. I mean, it's the little things of stepping into the moment that that touches my heart. You know, that opens me up. That puts me in a place of gratitude. And I don't know if it's this stage of my life. I don't know what the next chapter is. I'm kind of in a holding pattern and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with not knowing. You know, it's the mystery and the adventure. And I've always been chasing something. And I think I was trying to find myself. And now here I am. And I'm loving it. Especially being in this program and having, you know, like-minded people that are on a similar journey to bounce things off of and relate to and just light up with.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yes. I really appreciate where this conversation is going because it feels like there's something so deep about one's inner authority to be able to interrupt patterns. You know, we've talked about it in the collective as like, how do we know the difference between when we're in our conditioned mind and when we're in our essence? Like that was one of our weeks where we played with that. And I think what I'm really feeling is this other level of embodiment. And maybe that's kind of what we're all touching into and why it's amplifying together in the field of there's permission to not play into the way that it lives in each of us individually. This, I don't even want to use patriarchy, but I want to use like industrial revolutionary mentality, just like efficiency and speed and effort and which feels so reduction. Yeah, it just feels exactly. It feels like it does this kind of reductionistic thing where we are no longer operating as a whole. And I want to say one last thing because it's still with me from earlier this week when we had the relational power got kicked off. And we were talking about the pain of when people project on us or we feel misunderstood, and there's just like our heart is open, and yet someone has this whole narrative about us that they're so convinced is true, and then we just don't feel seen. And of course we all do it, like it's just a human thing. But someone said, well, what do we do with that? And this one person, so beautifully with tears in her eyes, she said, you let your heart break. You just let it break your heart. And I think it ties back to what you were saying earlier, T, where it's just, we're living in such a powerful time of watching what's happening on the political stage and in the world, and like so much misuse of power. I mean, the amount of violence, abuse, and all that is getting uncovered, even just from the Epstein files. But there's this sense of we're birthing something new when we interrupt reinforcing whatever those kind of programs are. And it's very hard. Like I was raised in a very performative environment, and that's how I survived. And yet it's the very thing that truncated me from my heart. So I just kind of want to throw it back out around the power of opening our hearts and feeling the vulnerability and the fragility of our lives and choosing, well, how do I want to be spending it? Having the blessing to be able to even ask that question.
I so relate. I so relate to everything you just said. It's been on my mind. And when you, gosh, I forget the exact words you used, but my takeaway was like, it's actually a rebellious act. It's a rebellious act to feel different in our bodies, to find a different way. And I like reading world history. My favorite time periods are like 6,000 to 4,000 BC. There's not a lot about that time periods, but I find it. But I read all world history, and I just finished a book about all these different tribes that aren't talked about that much over thousands of years through the Middle East and through Europe. And none of it was history I didn't really know in some ways. But I was just reminded how insanely violent it has been for 3,000 to 4,000 years from ancestry that I come from. And reading that book, I was just like, I walked away with a giant question mark of like, I don't know how we get to the next thing. Mm-hmm. But it's been bad for a long time. And like that's in my genes, it's in my blood, it's in my bones. Like my family's been the raped, my family's been the raper, like all of ours have. Like the murderers, the murdered, reading these tribes, this way, the Vandals this way, and the Visigoths this way, and it's like endless. But I really have also been sitting with this question that I don't think I had words for until you said them so well. But I live in a time, even though it's crazy right now, I live in a time where my life is better, easier off, and safer than anyone in my lifetime ever. And I was like, oh, shit. Whoa. Like, yeah, that's just true. With who I am and who my parents are, and I have great parents, all these things. So it's really, it was around the time that I kind of had those mental thoughts that this next level of landing in my heart has shown up, which I don't think I quite put together. So it's fun realizing that here. But yeah, my brain has like grabbed onto a deeper understanding of why feeling from the heart is totally foreign.
Alina, Whoa, I'm just feeling
I know,
that
I
in my
love this
body.
combo.
And it's so good. Yeah. It's bringing up a question for me. I mean, what a poignant statement of like, this is the easiest. Well, not easiest. How did you say that? This place, this incarnate. I can't remember how you brought it through.
Yeah, I don't know. Easiest, richest, full, like safest,
Yeah,
safest, safest.
That's right. Than
Safest for
any
sure.
of your ancestral for thousands and thousands and thousands. So this is a question that I muse on all the time. I don't have an answer. I don't know if anyone does, but I'm always so curious about what are we doing here on Earth? And what I mean by that is, do these patterns ever change, or does just the face of them change? Now we have this crazy tech thing that's happening. We've got all the sex trafficking. That's not new. I mean, it is to the extent, and I don't mean to minimize anything that's happening right now, but these patterns, when I think of it systemically, why do y'all think we're here? Like, what are we doing as humans? Are we evolving?
A poor job of it. I mean,
I think we're here to learn.
yeah.
I really do. I go to, you come into the world physically on your own. My mother was a twin, but they didn't both come out at the same time. And you leave physically on your own. And everything in between is about relationship and learning, whether it's, learning how to be in relationship with yourself or others, or even, when I'm driving, I'm in a community of cars, and there's just, I ask this question myself, and I just keep coming back to it's experiential. What am I trying to learn? How am I trying to connect with myself? It's a really good question. If somebody has the answer, I would love to hear it.
I think it's all the answers.
Yeah.
I don't think it would reduce to one or even a few.
Right.
Perhaps we all have an answer that gets revealed, whether we're in this physical form body or not, after we leave it. So, but what a beautiful question to encourage us. And I'm thinking of Mary Oliver's beautiful poem, the last line. So tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
Yeah.
It's the same, feels like the same quality of what are we doing here to cherish this life? And what is cherishing?
Maybe it's all about love. And we come back to the heart.
I think it's all about love.
Mm-hmm.
Expanding that capacity to give and receive, and but there's so many forms of love that yeah.
I think about this question all the time.
What are your thoughts that in this moment on it?
One thought is that I am but one in many billion phalanges off of Mother Earth. Like, I am one in many billions of an expression of whatever this spirit of Earth is, and that she's just having a good time, like trying things out. And that one helps me sometimes. The one that I come back to the most is from an Indigenous teacher I study with, Maria Yesbrew, and in her tribe's tradition, this has been my lifesaver. They talk about how we've been devolving for up until now, up until about 10 years ago, we've been devolving, and now we're revolving. And that matches the Kali Yuga and different aspects in Hinduism. And that actually makes a lot of sense to me. Like my scientific brain, when I really do look at humans and how, like how did we know how to build the pyramids, and then now we're like, I don't, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I might be the safest my blood has ever been, but I'm definitely not the like I don't know, most prolific or something. But that one really helps me, because when I do look at the world as it is, it does feel really baffling. Like, why are we here? What are we doing? But when I look at it like, oh, we've been devolving for a crazy long time, and now we're evolving. Again, it comes back to like, oh, I feel like Earth's just like trying things out. Like,
Free dish.
We're experimenting.
yeah. Like
Experimenting.
she is like, and I don't know. That one helps me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So beautiful to be with all of you. And I love these conversations. I feel different in my body right now just talking about it. There's something about the normalizing that it is a rebellion to go against so much of this conditioning. And it is sweat and tears to actually get it revealed enough to have the staying power to witness it and not be identified. I mean, what a miracle. If that's evolving, like what a miracle. When I think of, in Kundalini, there's this one saying, Wahe Guru. Some of you know I've talked about this. And Guru is basically when the light is revealed through the darkness. And Wahe is like awe. It's like, wow, like seeing a sunset. And it's like, we all know that feeling of when we see the light reveal something dark and unseen or scary, and we're not judging ourselves for it, or that moment when the heart opens towards something that would normally be really prickly. Or even Alina's earlier of like, I got that text and then I've got this relational thing and I've got like that there's something also really quiet there. And I just kind of revel in how nourishing it is to be with other humans that are so committed to witnessing who we truly are and befriending all of this programmed conditioning that makes up our personality, makes up what we do in the world. And then, like I was saying earlier about this identity of being, I mean, there's so many layers to it, but the one that's yielding out of feeling like I need to keep generating, creating, and like actually, as beautiful as that is, and that won't stop, there's also this like settling that's allowing me to have more joy and appreciation for my life than I've ever been able to have before, because I'm actually feeling my life. So I'm feeling the grief. I'm feeling all the things. And it's just like, I don't even know where I'm going with that, but let me turn it over to you all. And just if there's anything that you would want to share with listeners about either your wish for humanity, that's one option, or something that you're so deeply reveling in of your own awakening and how you're seeing that happen and what your relationship to that is right now, that's another option. But I just want to, or there could be a third, whatever, wild card, whatever you want to take. But I want to hear each of your voice again as we move towards closing our time in a bit. So wherever you want to go, just feel into and take a moment. Meanwhile, listeners, just feel your own breath, feel yourself right now as you're just waiting to hear one of these wild, beautiful women speak.
This isn't profound, but it's from my heart. I just the word connect connectedness, connection, if that is something that the listeners are seeking, then definitely they will find it within this container. I had been seeking, really weird, I'm going to try and be quick. For years, I was trying to find community. Literally trying to find community, and it links back to that moving, right? If you keep moving, you can't find it. And when I surrendered, it's like spirit brought in everything to me. When I said that I found this reconnection with you, Anne-Marie, after all those years, and it coincided with the Revealing Wisdom Collective, it was a divine connection, for sure. And everything about this experience since has opened up the heart and allowed more of that to happen. Makes me want to cry, but it's like happy tears. It's incredible how connected I feel to things now. And I just want to say thank you. And that's because of everybody that is in this, right? Everybody's bringing a piece of themselves to it. And it is, you really can't put it into words. It's something you have to experience. And I hope that more people get to, because it does take you away from that craziness that the world presents like all of the time. It's somewhere to come and find home again. So thank you.
Thank you, T. So beautiful.
Mine's probably the wild card.
Great.
The phrase you just said from Kundalini, I definitely want to hear you say it again.
Okay.
But that, I really loved that translation, and that feels like my prayer right now. You gave me words for a prayer that I haven't had words for. So much greatness has come from centering power, as I've talked about. And like, life's still hard. I get these headaches all the time. I feel like I'm dealing with some stuff that's really baffling. And I think, like many of us, we've been around the block and we've tried many things. And so the idea of like trying another thing doesn't feel great. But that sense of like, I think, I have faith that there's going to be light coming out of the darkness at some point. I don't know when it is, but that phrase, I was like, oh, that's my prayer right now. So yeah, it's not my wish for humanity per se, but it is my wish for me. Is centering power has dropped me into my own life and feeling it in a new embodiment, which I'm so thankful for. And I'm like, and there's more. Like, I'm ready. Like let's keep going, life. Let's keep going. There's more.
Yes. I love that. Wahe Guru to that. So, Wahe Guru.
I almost don't want to, it's like I've changed thoughts a couple times, and I love what is my prayer? What is my hope, for humanity? And it's all of what's been said, and it's connection, container, embodiment. It's each moment, whether it feels good or not, it's becoming more and more human, and realizing the journey that is so precious. Answering that question, why are we here? And staying with it. Keep staying with it. I've known you so long, Anne-Marie, and I'm so happy to be reconnected with you. I mean, it feels like the divine has swooped me back together And like starting the spiritual journey, we've gone away but coming back to something that is so potent and important right now. So super grateful to you. And I echo what T's saying. If you're listening to this and you have any inkling of interest and some kind of niggle and nudge, come join us. We want you.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you, Gail. Thank you all. T, Alina, Gail, how rich. I feel like I could go on and on. Maybe it'll have to be another, because I have so many questions that keep coming through. But yeah, I just want to say my life is so rich doing this with you all right now. And I didn't know Alina's watched this. Like this is something I thought about doing for, did I meet you in 2019 or 2020? I can't remember. But that long. And I still wasn't sure. And it has all been my heart. I wasn't sure why I would do this. It makes no sense in my business model right now. And in the redesign of my business for leaders to be doing these customized retreats for people who are going through ego disillusion. That's my jam. And this is something really precious and different. And I cannot express how important the learning has been for me to move forward with it when everyone was telling me not to do this. It was like, it doesn't make any sense. Da, 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 da. And yet here we are. And this is probably like, it just feels like this is just the billowing of a flame that I'm feeling so grateful to be a part of, and how much I'm receiving in the field that we're creating. I mean, I think that's it. It's like, I've gone to a lot of different things and they're beautiful, but there's a certain, I'm a snob when it comes to the field and the quality and there's something that we're all creating that feels like, oh yeah, this is home frequency. Yeah, this is cool. And it's not because it's through my name, and it's something so much bigger than me. And I know that. So thank you all for being part of this and actually being part of this conversation today. It's just been a blast. Mwah. To be continued.
Oh, I don't want it to end.
No. Well, on that note, in the final piece here is I'm going to have information about all of you if you want to share what you do in the world in the show notes. But I just wanted to see, do any of you want to name anything right now for people to hear about you and your work? Or does that feel like not for the moment? Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, it feels more of like who we are.
Just feel the love.
Yeah, exactly. Feel the love, listeners. Yeah, and like Gail said, we want you. If you feel called, please consider, you can reach out to me if you want to have a consult about it. I'll tell you more about the collective. Okay, until next time. Bye all.
Thank
Lots
you.
of love.
Bye-bye.